Morning. It is 8 o'clock on the dot. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris, and this is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Today, a special edition of Coffee Talk as we are watching the threat for strong to severe storms moving into central Florida. Live look outside in Volusia County, a cloudy morning. A damp morning in spots. We are already watching some pockets of heavy rainfall showing up on our first warning live Doppler radar. So let's get right to it and see what the status is now. And also, let's look through the day today, okay? By the way, through all of Coffee Talk, I will be cycling through all of the radar imagery in the bottom left part of our screen. But there's where we stand right now. First warning live Doppler radar showing some very heavy rainfall off the shoreline. It's lifting away from us, but Brevard and Volusia County has already watched some rain. There's a look now. You can kind of see it lifting away from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, the Kennedy Space Center here into Volusia County. Heavy rains exiting the shoreline, but that's just kind of the first round. This is exactly how Futurecast had called for things to start off. So I think it's had a great handle on things, and I think that it's probably going to continue to have a pretty good handle on things into the day. Temperatures out the door are in the 60s and 70s, depends on where you are. Here's a look at our forecast, okay? This morning, I can already tell you, it's gorgeous. I see blue sky, I see some clouds, right? The problem, though, is on a day like today when there's the threat for strong to severe storms, you don't necessarily want the sunshine because the sunshine allows us to heat up and it allows us to destabilize the atmosphere. 3 p.m. temperature 85. Once you get into those mid-80s, that's when Mother Nature is able to start developing showers and thunder showers kind of at will. And that's why you could see 3, 4, 5 o'clock there on our forecast. We've got that little yellow icon there. Okay, that little yellow icon there. Kind of see it there. Yeah, that little yellow icon there denotes a first warning impact day. In other words, we're looking at the threat for strong to severe storms today. The timeline of that is the afternoon, but I do want you to stay weather aware and a couple of things. Okay, a couple of things. While you're thinking about it, let's just discuss, shameless plug, but I don't even care, all right? The WESH 2 mobile app. You can download this thing free, but in a situation like today, I want to make sure you've turned on your alerts. That way you can get the very latest on severe weather or even just rain moving in. But pro tip here, and then we'll get into the data. So here's the app. You can see front page. There's the information, okay? If you click on weather and you click on the radar button here, okay, you get the radar. But bottom corner here, if you click on the bottom corner there, the little sandwich, the little hamburger, there's options. And if you look, it defaults to radar, which is a national composite. You can actually go one over to first warning live Doppler radar. The reason I point this out, it's a much higher resolution look. Okay, it's the exact same radar that I'm showing you here. I fought hard to get that in the app. It's a high resolution look. It's updated much more frequently. It's updated every minute, okay, instead of every 3 or 5 minutes. So pro tip, shameless plug, boss never asked me to shamelessly plug it. I don't care, though. It's a great resource, and I don't mind sharing. So let's discuss today's severe weather threat, okay? In the metro area, depending on where you are, really, you're either under a level 1 out of 5 risk for isolated strong to severe storms, or you're under a level 2 risk for scattered strong to severe storms. The models have really liked the East Coast for the most activity today. Excuse me. And so that's kind of what we're playing out, okay? So keep that in mind. But when does us all arrive? Let's take a look at the very latest Futurecast. Get an idea. Okay, first off, I always say garbage in, garbage out. But the model, I think, is initializing really well. There's 8 o'clock this morning. That's almost a mirror image of our live radar. 10, 11, 12 o'clock, we're going to be getting the sunshine. That's going to be warming the temperatures, destabilizing the atmosphere. Then you can kind of see 2, 3 o'clock, already starting to see a few popcorn thunderstorms. That's 3:30. That's when we'll be chatting on Coffee Talk today. And yeah, we've got those showers and those thunderstorms around, okay? Then 4, 5 o'clock, that's when activity gets going. 7, 8 o'clock, I mean, just look at those colors, right? Now, for you Swifties heading over to Tampa, the forecast is looking very good, I'm really happy to say. But 8 o'clock tonight, intense thunderstorms on the radar, it looks like, for Eastern Orange, Seminole, Volusia, and Brevard counties. 9 o'clock, same kind of deal. 10, 11 o'clock starting to fade, okay? So that's the timeline that we've got. What about the threats for Central Florida? That's equally as important. All right, the Storm Prediction Center has put out this kind of update. And the biggest concern, at least in terms of direct impacts, is going to be the damaging wind threat. The straight line winds getting into that 50, 60 mile per hour criteria. There's a low end threat for hail. The atmosphere's gotten a little chillier upstairs, and there's a low end threat for isolated tornadoes. Okay, so with that said, that's where we're at today. That's the Cliff's Notes version, but I, of course, on a day like today, want to make sure that we have a chat. So I'm going to put up our day planner forecast, and I'm going to now take your questions. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm also going to take a sip of coffee. I've been talking too much. All right. Looking good. Kenneth, good morning. Everybody, good morning. I'm not even going to say good morning. It's a busy day today. Beth says, yikes, my son is on a school field trip to the Kennedy Space Center. So the stuff really looks to be going, starting at 2, getting riled up at 4, and then it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's really the timeline. So I think for the school field trip, we should be okay, Beth. We'll be watching for isolated stuff to bubble up early, but for the most part, I think we won't be into truly getting things going. All right. Cassandra, is this an off-season low? Is it going to get better for Hollywood, Florida anytime soon? Have friends that had to evacuate due to flooding. So down in Hollywood yesterday, and if you were sleeping, or I wish I was sleeping, we had a truly rare event yesterday, and it's all associated with the same weather system that's impacting us. But yesterday, unofficially, the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport registered 25.6 inches of rain. The old daily record at that location is 14.5 inches. Now, the Weather Service, they'll do some QCing and all this, but obviously it was a massive, massive, massive rain event. That energy is lifting to us. Keep in mind, though, and this is what's particularly unique, it was an unbelievable rain event. But during that rain event, there were tornadic. It was a mesocyclone that just sat and rotated and sat and rotated. So what ended up happening is it would pulse up and it would produce a tornado warning. It would look like it was producing a tornado. We've not heard any confirmation of a tornado touching down. It was like Davie, Hollywood area. So if there was a tornado, certainly somebody would have seen it. But it was a powerful storm system. And the reason that we talked a lot about this last night on West 2 News, you had me on, you had me running the ship. So that's just the way that it goes. But the reason we were talking about it, if you look at the map, that piece of energy, that low is lifting north, but that trough, that brown kind of dashed line, that's that energy from yesterday, and it's lifting north. It's lifting into our area. And when that happens, we will have our threat for strong to severe storms. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Okay? Okay. Listen, y'all are talking about my mic acting up. I say this with all due respect. It's built into the laptop. I'm not a broadcast television station. I'm doing this on a computer, so it's not going to be perfect. I don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to invest in professional equipment. I'm sitting on my patio with my MacBook Pro. If it's that bad that you're unable to that you're unable to hear, then I don't know what to say. But I've listened back to it when everybody's complained, and it's like very minor. So we need to move beyond the very minor scratching. I'm using my trackpad on my computer, so let's just move beyond that, okay? Will these storms bring lots of thunder in southeast Orlando? New puppy and want to be prepared. I would be prepared for thunderstorms. In your exact location, you know, it's not a situation where I can say with definitive proof, but Futurecast, as we were already seeing, Futurecast is showing that thunderstorms kind of from Orlando off to the east. So, you know, prep for it. That's all I can say is just prep for it, okay? And I do apologize for that. Okay, so asking about Ocala, Melissa, your chance for stronger storms, your chance for severe storms is going to be a little bit lower given the fact that you're further to the west. It's there, you're under a level 1 risk of strong to severe storms, but it's not quite as high, okay? All right, what's up with all the humidity, Elizabeth? We've got a warm front lifting north, right? That's the humidity, that's the heat today. That's also going to be what is responsible for this opportunity for severe weather come this afternoon and this evening, okay? Yeah, the forest, Kristen, is under a level 2 risk. Yep. All right. Did anyone see that ocean breeze burnt down in New Smyrna Beach? That is so sad. Yeah, Sean, I saw that this morning. I sent it to the wife. That's definitely not great. That's not what you want, right? Yeah, okay. Rain totals. All right, y'all talking about rain totals. Here's the problem. We certainly don't want the 25 inches of rain seen yesterday. But how much rain could we see, right? So let me dial up the Futurecast rainfall accumulation product here. It's not going to be a ton. Yeah, I mean, there you go. What Futurecast has started to do is it's started to pick up not on a big widespread rain event, but more over these kind of discrete supercells that get a little pulsed up. And you can see that very clearly, like just by looking at this. Okay, so we've got Seminole. You see those yellow and orange shades. What Futurecast is showing is pockets of heavy rain, but not a widespread rain event. But there's Futurecast through 10:30 tonight. All right? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Laura, the mic isn't bad. I'm like, I've listened to it. Everybody, you know, I'm doing this on my own time on my own computer. If you want professional stuff, you're going to have to turn on the TV where they spend the money. This is my MacBook Pro, y'all. Like, you take what you can get. I'm sorry. I didn't get a ton of sleep the last couple of days, so my grumpy factor's definitely dialed up a little bit. Yeah. All right. Of course, Catherine. My pleasure. Altamont. Christy says Altamont right on the verge of a level 2. So let's discuss this level 1, level 2 thing. I don't want everybody splitting hairs here. Okay? This is, hi, I'm Eric. I'm your friendly, somewhat grumpy today, neighborhood meteorologist. Let's talk about this. I don't want you saying to yourself, like, if only he could zoom in. Oh, he zoomed in. I don't want you thinking that way. I don't want you thinking, oh, I'm on the border, so I'm okay. I want you to think of it stepping back and saying, all right, what the Storm Prediction Center is saying is the further east you live, the more the atmospheric dynamics could support some stronger storms, some severe storms, okay? Don't go zooming in with your brain and you're like, I think I'm okay. Like, for example, my house is right on the border. I can tell you that right now. I live right on the border. To me, that doesn't matter. To me, parts of Central Florida, parts of Central Florida are under a level 2 risk for scattered strong to severe storms, which means I'm going to expect that at my house, right? I don't want you thinking, just like when we look at Futurecast, I don't want you thinking, oh, it's like one street over from my house. Don't think that way. Instead, say, oh, it's kind of in the vicinity, and I see the trend Futurecast is showing. That's model data. That's computer data. That's forecast data. You know, it's like the long range forecasting techniques that we use. You could you could try to make a claim that, like, we are going to tell you the day that something is going to hit, and it's going to be this. No, let's take a step back. Long-range forecasting gives us an idea of what to anticipate, but you have to know its abilities and you have to know its limitations. Same thing goes with severe weather forecasting. Same thing goes with forecasting in general. Okay, just so that we're there. I don't want you splitting hairs here. Nikki says, oh, not loving the timing of these storms. Kiddo has rehearsal in Winter Park at 6, and I have a meeting in Longwood at 7. Doesn't look like great driving weather. No, Nikki, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just going to be honest. Let me dial up the Futurecast again, and we can review the timing, okay? So morning stuff's clearing out. Notice by 1, 2, 3 o'clock, we're already getting a couple of, like, discrete cells firing up in Marion, Sumter, and Lake County. That's why we're not leaving you completely out, right? Like, that's why we're not leaving you completely out, because we're already starting to see at least some little bits of activity. Then 4 o'clock, Lake County, Marion County, some of those thunderstorms firing up. Then it moves east, and it's at that point, around 5, 6, 7, that's when it hits that atmospheric energy. That's when we're going to be talking about the showers and the thunder showers getting pulsed up more and more and more, okay? And you can see Futurecast not mincing words, like 6, 7, 8 o'clock, feisty, feisty. Yeah. Taylor, what are the drought levels looking now that we've had a few days of rain? Almost untouched. As a matter of fact, they've continued to go up because even though we've gotten some rain, it's not been enough to counteract the rain we've needed to support. So the drought numbers have continued to add. Yeah. Pat says April showers do bring May flowers and green grass. We need the rain desperately. Yeah. I think an old school cheap plug-in mouse would fix it if you wanted to address the scratchy sound. Christy, if I'm honest, I'm a father who's just trying to do his thing, man. If I'm 100% honest, and I'm probably saying this just because I've gotten like 2 hours of sleep the last few nights, I don't care. I don't want to move a mouse around from spot to spot to spot as well. I have a computer. It's not that bad. I listen to it. There you go. You got grumpy me, y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, Taylor's right. My give a darn is busted. It's gone. Zero. I bought this computer. It's small. It's fine. It's really not that bad. When I do coffee talk in my office, I have a professional microphone. Cool beans. I'm tired and grumpy, and if I want to sit on my back patio hanging out with you on my time, on my day off doing coffee talk, that's where we're at. It's not that bad. It is what it is. All right. Amy says, thank you for doing these. It's much appreciated. Thank you. My apologies for being a little grumpy today. I'm just tired. And I listened to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make a big deal over like a little pop. I'm not running Wesh 2 News out of my laptop here. Coffee Talk doesn't need to be the most unbelievable production ever known to man. All right, Futurecast rotation. I showed this yesterday, and it's definitely showing that rotation peaking out in our eastern areas, like 5 p.m. You can see it kind of dialed in out east of us. The brighter shades. This is not going to be like an Oklahoma City kind of thing, right? But we do have some instability, and we can't write that off. So for what it's worth, Mickey, this is for you. Yeah. For what it's worth, there it is. Yeah. We've got the instability. So what's the difference between level 1 and 2, Christine? That's a really good question. So when it comes to the severe threats, we try to make this as clear as possible, but we don't do this every day. So certainly every time we use it, we need to kind of revisit it. So on the top there, green is level 1. That means isolated. That means out of all the showers, you'll see 1 or 2 kind of popping a little stronger. Level 2 is scattered. That means you're going to see several bubbling up. Okay, so that's kind of the definitive look. Yellow is a higher level for us in Central Florida. The 90, I'm not, God, I hope we are not talking about this, but like the 98 tornadoes were a level 2 risk. The Groundhog Day tornadoes in '07 were a level 2 risk. So that's a decent risk for us. Level 3 means numerous, lots. Level 4, red, widespread. And level 5 is a high risk of severe weather. Like, it's going to be bad. Even though the only time Central Florida ever was placed under a level 5 risk of strong to severe storms, we got nothing. Florida is just Florida. That's all you can say. Florida is just Florida. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Good morning to you, Chris. How are you? Lisa, will tomorrow's weather make up for today? It will. Tomorrow's weather looks much, much, much better. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. We've got rain chances going down in a pretty nice way for tomorrow. Here's a look at our day, okay? Tomorrow, 30% chance of rain. Saturday, mostly sunny skies. And then Sunday, we'll dial up the rain just a little bit. Yeah. Michael says, it's actually amazing that you can do all of that from a MacBook. A MacBook Air, may I add. Now, when I'm in my office, I've got my MacBook Pro, and I've got a professional microphone. But if I'm honest with y'all, I haven't had any time at my house, and that's why I'm sitting outside. Because I'm going to enjoy the house. And if that means that there's a pop every now and then on the microphone, don't care. Sorry, love ya. Just, it is what it is. We all have to deal with, we all have to deal with things sometimes that we don't love. Love ya. And he says, I need a hug. What I need is this coffee to kick in and then a nap. It's okay. It's fine. Such is life. So yes, tomorrow's weather will make up for it. We just kind of have to get through today's severe threats. Okay? Yukon Eric's attitude and lack of sleep is me every day of my life. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, man. Too funny. All right, any other questions about today? I just want to make sure. Maureen's asking about Oviedo. Yeah, Oviedo has that threat to see those stronger storms today. Absolutely. Yeah, I would. If I lived in Oviedo, I would be watching the weather. Yeah. I was to say, it's not that bad at all. Much more detailed than TV, Beverly says. Besides, I don't have a working TV, just use the Wesh app. Well, thank you. You know what's nice about Coffee Talk? Listen, I mean, I love this format. But what's particularly nice is that, like, I've been talking for 22 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes is me complaining. But by talking for 22 minutes, like, we can go over a lot of data. And I love that it's a two-way street. You can ask questions. What I don't love is when people complain. I'm like, y'all, I'm doing the best I can. Yukon says, as one lifelong grump, I can appreciate grumpiness. It's an art. I'll raise my cup of coffee to that. Oh, man. Florida is just Florida. Laura, it's so true, though. Like, every time, this is, okay, story time. Whenever we hire a new meteorologist, I explain to them, and this goes into the grump thing, but I explain to them, I'm like, don't stress out about whatever temperature you go with. Okay? I want to go 84 instead of 85. Don't stress, because whatever you do is going to be wrong. Like, you're like, there's a little more sunshine, so we should do 84 instead of 83. It's going to go 87. And my favorite example of this is Cam Tran. She would stress about her temperatures. And I told her, Florida is going to Florida. That's my line with her. And so what's so funny, about, I don't know, like a month, 2 months in from when she moved here, she's like, Florida's going to Florida. And so often, whenever she and I are working on a forecast together, it's like, Florida's going to Florida. Whatever the models say, it's going to be different. If there's not a threat of severe, if the dynamics are marginal for severe weather, we're going to get severe weather. And if the dynamics are massively favorable for severe weather, we're not going to get severe weather. So it's like Florida being covered on 3 sides with water. It's amazing what goofiness entails. Man. Wesley's asking, this is a good question. Today, are we going to receive rain like the one that was recorded from Fort Lauderdale yesterday? A, God, I hope not. B, I don't think so. Models yesterday, to give you an idea, models knew there was going to be a decent rain event in Fort Lauderdale. The computer models were forecasting 8 to 11 inches. 25 rain. 25 inches of rain fell. Florida's going to Florida. Now, no model is indicating that kind of rain for us today. No model. If we look, let's go through them together, okay? So, I showed you Futurecasts, but let's do it again. All right, so here's Futurecast rain. And there's pockets, like you can see Seminole, East Orange into kind of the Brevard, Volusia border, the yellows and the oranges, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. So we could definitely get a good soaker according to Futurecast. Let's look at the GFS. Which I don't even know why it's, hold on a second. We can do the GFS and the Euro this way and it'll be much better. So there's the next 7 days. So like the GFS and the Euro are not even impressive. So there you go. There's your answer. No, we are not expecting, thank God, to get anything like what Fort Lauderdale got yesterday. We will, I'm sure, see some pockets of heavy rainfall, but no, we're not expecting it to be like that. Now, to give you an idea, though, you know, we talk about like level 1 threat for strong severe storms, level 2, 3. That's severe weather. The flooding department also has that. The WPC, or Weather Prediction Center, posts their own flooding threat, and we're under a level 1 risk for flooding today, meaning that we're watching the potential. Obviously, the dynamics are off to the east. All right? So that's where we're at. Yeah. All right? Hope you can get a nap today. Laura, I'm exhausted, for sure. Confirmed. Yeah. Mickey, can we weather nerd it up in here? Soundings, anyone? Oh, I don't even know if I have it set up where I can show you. Hold on. You want soundings? I love it. People are asking for soundings. I have trained you right, Mickey. Let's take a look. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You're going to ask me for this. Stand by. Atmospheric soundings. Type of plot. Skew T. Ooh, a Stuvie diagram. Y'all want to get feisty. All right, it's thinking. All right. Let me just make sure the 13th. Okay, so this is the most recent. I don't know if I think. All right. I give up. All right, so a couple things. Let me just pop this here. All right, so let's just look and see what we got here. All right, so precipitable water, thickness. One thing of note, you know, the big thing that catches me right off the bat is right in here, surface wind, and then winds shearing with height or veering with height. You see how it's kind of east at the surface. So, okay, if you're unfamiliar with what a skew T diagram is, this is weather balloon data, okay? 0Z, so it's last night. We should have a 12Z balloon going up soon, and that'll be interesting to see. But last night you could kind of see that east breeze right at the surface here. And then as we go up with height, there's a little jet streak at about 200 millibars. That's pretty far up there. There's a decent little streak here at 700 millibars. That would be there. I'd be curious to see this morning's soundings, but winds are shearing with height. All right, you've kind of got a nice departure of dry air. Let's see if that dry air upstairs filters down to the surface. It's marginal here. It's not really that bad. So last night's atmospheric sounding was stable. That's what this is. It'll be interesting to see what ends up showing up in this morning's sounding. I guess the balloon is still going up, so we'll get that at some point in the not so distant future. But a lot of moisture, so the precipitable water is high. I love that we're talking and showing SKU-T soundings. Like, what have I done to y'all? What have I done? I love it. Mickey, thank you for that question, by the way. Love it. Oh, man. Destiny, is Deltona going to get a lot? Today's my mom's rehearsal wedding ceremony. Should we hold off until tomorrow? Destiny, what time is it, my love? What time is it? For Deltona, let's pull up Futurecast again. Okay? I mean, for me, you can see around 7:30 stuff in the area. So I would be guessing that if we have outdoor plans, Destiny, in that timeline, it may not be perfect. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Patricia. I appreciate it, my dear. Laura says, I literally say it's Florida probably 20 times a day. Totally, totally, totally agreed. Yeah, totally, totally agreed. Florida is its own animal, right? Man, oh man. I mean, the weather part of it is just goofy. Yeah. Do we have a risk of brush fires starting with the severe weather? Listen, lightning is a concern. Yeah, lightning could spark brush fires. So, truth be told, yeah, that is a concern. Oh man. I don't care what anyone says. Solar activity, the planet wobble, and other atmospheric things affect climate and local temperatures. Listen, everything works in tandem. Everything works in tandem. There's nothing that's by itself. John, the SKU-T baby. I'm going to be interested to look at the sounding. I'll tell you, and I'll make this promise to you, when this morning's sounding comes out, and I'll be checking certainly through the day, I'll post it. Okay? To my Facebook and to my Twitter. I can nerd promise you that. All right? Let's keep it nerdy so Eric can stop being grumpy. Oh, Mario, too funny. I like being both nerdy and grumpy. That's who I am. That's who I am. Any tornado threat around Orlando? Yeah, there is the threat. There is the threat today. The tornadoes are not the highest threat, but here's your tornado risk for the day, okay? Isolated threat for an isolated tornado today. The bigger threat is going to be the wind concerns today. Here's a look. The damaging winds are a level 2 risk. So, yeah. That's kind of where we're at. And that damaging wind component is why today ended up being elevated to a level 2 overall risk for strong to severe storms. And again, if we just bubble it all down, there you go. There's our kind of concerns for the day today. All right? Where's the rain dance being held? We need it. Yeah, we need it for sure. All right? Grumpy Nerd Day. That's it. All right, people. So that's where we're at. Again, this morning, not too bad, but the forecast, the 12-hour forecast is going to reveal for us, okay, that through the day today, little by little, we're upping that severe weather ante. The warmer things get, the more instability we'll be able to get going. All right? That's where we're at. So we'll be checking in this afternoon. Sound good? Sound good. All right, listen. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you for putting up with my grumpiness and my nerdiness. Hopefully we don't get too much sunshine. That's just where we're at, okay? Next week in my weather nerd list is photographs. Oh my God, yeah, there's that too. Taking me right back to college. All right, I will see you guys and gals later this afternoon for Coffee Talk, okay? Sound good? Sound good?